Take it away, Sarah.
Okay. So after I've set up the party over on Consultants Corner, my next step is, and I do all the parties in Consultants Corner, then I'll go over to table and do them all in table. I guess you could do each party one at a time, but I just do one place, then I do all of them in the next place, and then all of them in the third place, because you do have to set up in 3 different places. But I go over here and create a party. We'll go ahead and we'll use the little heart thing, even though this is just a makeshift party. And I do always use the same color, or like if I'm making it my own color, I try to get as close to the same color. So this one needs to be pink. And that's just my anal self. And then every party does have some form of little emoji around it.
How do you get the
And this one,
How do you get the emoji in there?
I do Control, Command, Shift, but I have a Mac, so it'd be Control, Alt, Shift, I think. This is important because they all, whatever you name it here, you've got to do the exact same when you get to Consultant Connection. So we're just going to say Sarah's virtual party, and then I do a heart at the end. The order link, I use this, the first one, so this landing page thing. So just copy and paste it, then put whatever party message you want. I always do free gift with $90 and free shipping with $150. Order date, that's obviously whatever date you're gonna close it, so whatever you put in there. I do uncheck that, and I always uncheck it. And then this video link is my YouTube one that is my welcome to table. So that's gonna be the new thing that now is gonna be front and center. So then you do next. Let it do its little thing. It's going to pop that in. And then, and I'm loving this, that is humongous. Then I go in here and I upload most of my posts. Most of my hosts don't ever upload a picture. Oh, my computer is acting up. Okay, it's not going to let me load the picture because my computer, I got to restart my computer, but I'll show you what picture I put in there. I put this little picture in there.
We can't see that because it opened up in the new.
I'm bringing it up. It's this picture that I put in there. Now, if the host, once they join, if they upload a picture, sometimes I go in there and change. But if not, this picture is what goes in that little circle. I have no idea where. I guess that's in consultant imagery, whatever.
We can't see if you are showing us the picture.
Oh,
when you open up a new window. It doesn't.
Okay, well, let me go to a different party and I'll show you. Hold on.
Okay.
Let this one load. I say let it load. Maybe I didn't put it on that person's party.
As part of my host coaching, I just asked my host for a picture, and
I do too. Yeah, I do too. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I don't spend a whole lot of time, but this one, it's hard to see. It says get a gift. And you spend $90 more, just because I don't want that to be a blank circle.
I have gone to Facebook and taken their profile picture, which is public, and I've put it in there myself sometimes.
I'm under the impression, though, on the guest side, if you don't put something there, it's not a blank circle. Like, it doesn't show up at all. But I could be wrong on that.
Oh, that may be.
I'm under the impression that if you don't put something there, it's not noticeable to the customer.
Yeah, that may be. Anyway, so I do that, then copy this link and go, and you can do the other copy button, whatever, but this is just my habit. Sorry, my husband's putting together a dog kennel. And I put it in here so that it's in Consultant Connection. And then your next thing is, oh, well, wait, then we've got to go schedule the content. So at this point, let's say I had 5 parties. I set all 5 up in consultant corner. Then I came over here and set all 5 up here. Then I'm going to come over here and schedule the content for all 5. And I'm not going to do it for this purposes. I'll just do the main. Got to move you guys. You're in my way. I can't see. Look, here we go. I don't know what I just did to you guys. So I always do the pre-loaded in here. And I set that for whatever time. Like I would do this one. What time is it? 12:11. So I would go ahead and set this one to be like 12:15 because I want it to be in there right away. The others I obviously set at 8 a.m. on each of those days. In this one, I do have my welcome to the table video in here because that was before they had it where it was going to be front and center. So that's going to be duplicated because that's that same video. But for now, I'm going to leave it.
Will you keep it in both places, Sarah?
For now, I'm going to, just because since that's so new that they just did. And like we were saying earlier today, I mean, you know, what does it really matter if it's in multiple places? Someone may catch it in a different place, you know, by chance. So I am going to keep it there for now. Because I honestly wasn't even thinking about that until just now when I told y'all. And so that's really all I do in table. From there, once all that content is scheduled for, and when you're scheduling them, obviously you can do all the parties at one time. Just pick each of the ones in table and schedule. However, whatever ones have that same emoji, I would do all at the same time. Then you go over to connection point. And here, under this parties and events setting, this is where you're going to load smart actions. And this is where you're going to pick different party types. I have several in here, but the one I'm using is this table 2024. And like I even have Janelle's that I loaded her code. I didn't mean to do that. I loaded her code because at some point when I have nothing else to do in the day, I'm going to go through there and see if there's some of hers that I like a little better than what I have, change it up, whatever. But you will go to whatever party type you're going to use, and you need to do smart actions for each party type, and obviously change them accordingly. But you'll set up your party type. I don't know why it's 7 days. I just did what others were doing. You do need to define, like in this case, after my host name, it will always say virtual party, and then it gives you the example. And that's why in connection point, you have to type it the exact same way it is over in table, because that's where it's pulling the information from, or however it's connected. All the behind the scenes is beyond my understanding. I just know this is what your screen needs to look like for your party type. So if anyone wants to take a picture of that, or later when you go set yours up, you can let me know. I do have a join action. And so this will go to every guest that joins. And this came from Janelle. In here, this party URL, that will end up being the table party. That link will be table, and I'll show you that when we actually set up a party. And then this is where you'll load smart actions. This is where you'll edit them all. This isn't affiliated with the party. This is just all my smart actions.
So just so people know, so smart actions will be text messages that will send through Project Broadcast, but you set it up in Connection Point.
Correct. And they will go to this execute. This determines who they go to. So these first 4 are all executing to the host, or if you have multiple hosts, you could send it to multiple hosts. And then when you get down into the party, because all of this is just pre-party, that all this is information the host is going to get, because these first several days, mine are -4, which means I'm sending it to her. My host I just sent yesterday, her guests will start getting messages Thursday. Now, it doesn't mean they can't order because she's inviting, so they can order. I just don't personally start texting them via Smart Actions till 4 days after, because you want your host to have time. You know, I don't want my host feeling like they have to invite all in one day. So like the
4
person
days before,
huh?
4 days before.
I do mine, yes. Now, some people are doing, I think the one I got this from hers was 5 days before, because she had these two messages, 5 days, these two, 4 days. I combined it because and you can see, like, it'll go at 9:23 in the morning. The next one's 9:37. Then I wait an hour and then I send these two because these are the actual inviting. But this first is this one, this Smart Action. This says, you know, and it'll fill in her name, says that it's me. It's, you know, time to get started. And then it says, do you have time either today or tomorrow that we could chat for 10 minutes? Da, 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 da. So they get that, but later on, they're still going to invite, but they can start inviting before I've talked to them. That's just kind of that, you know, first little message. Then right behind it is the information they will get to join their own party. So this party URL, again, will be the table link that will autofill. And so that's just a little blurb that I'm going to be sending them the invite information. So then this is just telling them kind of who to think through, the whole little Frank's thing. Now, this is stuff I'll talk to them on the phone if we do indeed have that phone conversation. But just in case I don't, I give them that information. And then they get the invite. And the invite is, as all I want them to do is be able to copy and paste this. And in mine, it's inviting them to go to party URL. It says you give a gift to the first 20 that join. The gift is an e-cookbook. I did have one person bite my head off this weekend about the fact it was an e-cookbook, but it's okay. I killed her with kindness and she's all good. And then
Question about that real fast. So is there a way to automate getting the cookbook, or you just manually do that later?
It was that I was doing it via the join form, but now I'm not using the join form. So now it is going to be up to me. There probably is a way to automate it. I probably can do some sort of join something, but I haven't gotten that far because I just switched this link to being the table link instead of my join form. It used to be I had the join.
So,
and like, go ahead.
So can all of these messages go through your project broadcast number, correct?
Yes.
So you could use a tag of the name of the e-cookbook and then just apply the tag.
You could, but I mean,
reply back.
that's
I mean,
6
for
to 1
right now,
happened
until it's figured out if that's
well,
easy.
I mean, or just the first 20 you see join, go in there because they're going to be in project broadcast because they join, and go in there and send them the cookbook.
Yeah, but
Okay.
what if you miss
Oh.
out on that like I did this weekend?
And here's the thing. If you miss someone that was the first 20, they're not going to know that they were in the first 20. So I would not overly stress. I'm not saying don't do it, but if for some reason they have no idea when they were invited, I mean, because I tell my host to invite every day throughout the party. So, I mean,
really, bottom line is, I would be thrilled if I had 20 people join a table party.
right.
Chances are you're not even going to hit 20, so you're just going to send it to everybody that joins.
Right. And you can do that. And you could do that anyway, even if you had more than 20, because the people in the mastermind group, they have 60, 70, and 80 people that join their table parties.
Wow. Okay, I need to figure
So
out how they do that.
It all has to do with the host. It's getting your host to make sure they're sending enough. Now, I am like my host that just started today. She texted and said, you know, okay, I've invited some. She's invited 70. She has had quite a few. I don't know. We'll look on here and see how many have joined so far. She has had, you know, probably at least 7 or 8. And I mean, she just started before our 10 o'clock call. So, you know, this link here, this is the video that does the walk through what they would see on table. That's not the same one that's over on table. This link is my YouTube video that says, you know, here's what you can expect on table. You'll see the 4 sections, you know, whatever that was where we did the guided little tour. That
The
is
part
there.
without the welcome.
What?
The part that we filmed that doesn't have the ending and the beginning, the welcome
Correct.
and the,
Red.
okay.
Yep. Where we switch screens and show them, you know, make sure and,
Yeah,
you know, yeah, that's what that video is, just so that if they haven't clicked on it, I mean, and just what it says, if you'd like to see what you can expect, be sure to watch that. So, and I don't know if people are watching. I haven't really tried to pay attention if people are watching. Anyway, so whole point to this, and I can share my smart actions with you guys. You can then tweak it because it's just this little code. So if y'all want me to share it, I can do that. I can post it, I guess, in our Savvy Sisters group or whatever. But your whole thing is whatever party type you're doing, you create your party type and you can add new ones. Some of mine, like I do have some smart actions under the bridal shower. If you're doing in-home parties, then you're going to have, you know, a table with the host because you're actually, I don't know what the difference of that one was. Anyway, but
I have one.
yeah, you're going to have different types. Like I'm not doing in-home parties, so I don't have any smart actions for that. But if you did, your smart actions would be different. So before you start using Connection Point, you got to make sure you've set this part up. Now we've said, okay, we went through all that, but we've set up on Connection Consultants Corner. We've set up in table. We've scheduled all the posts. So now you're going to go to this parties and event. And let's go look at the host that just started. It's this Karen. Yeah, see, she's got 14 people that have joined. These 3 hearts started yesterday. I have one, obviously she's doing nothing. This one's only invited 2. This one, which is the only one of the 3 that I've just talked to, she's got 14. And look, all these parties, look how bad they suck. But then you got this girl, she had 12 and we closed hers already. She's at 855. So, I mean, my sales, it is because none of them are blowing it out of the water. And I had 2,300 before the whatever. It's because a little bit here and there all adds up. So I'm not exploding, but over the year it's working and eventually it adds up. Okay, so let's set up this new one. So you're going to do add party. This is where it has to match identical. So if you did an emoji over on table, you need to do it here. And if you had a space, you need to have the same spaces. If you didn't have a space, don't have the space. Then here, I'm going to say table because I'm partying on table. My party type is, this is where my smart actions are. It's table 2024. Then I'm going to put my name, my phone number. Usually I go over to the other place and just copy it, but I know my own phone number. Party date. This is, since I'm -4, I would want my party date to actually be Saturday, the start date. And I don't care, you can leave it at the 12:01, whatever. The end date doesn't necessarily matter because the smart actions are going to go, like, even if I put the end date was tomorrow, my smart actions are still going to go because they're scheduled out. So your end date doesn't really matter.
But you
This
have to
is-
have it.
You do have to have it, but it does, whatever you put in there, you put the right one. I never change the time because
Uh-oh.
this
It
party
froze.
URL.
I froze for a minute.
Rose, back her up.
Okay, hold on. These 2 URLs, you need to make sure you put the right one because they're going to auto fill in smart actions and you need to make sure they're right. So this one, I am currently using the table URL because I want to be directed to table when they're invited. This is where I use
Cutting out again.
this is where I use that top landing page one.
So over on the party URL from table, can you just copy and paste the one that's in the screen, or do you have to go up to the
No, you can
top
copy
browser?
this. No. You could copy from over here.
Okay.
The
I'm
only
just
thing is when you
Okay, it's the same
copy
thing.
from where you're just looking at, Sarah, you get these extra letters that Pampered Chef is using to track like where the link comes from. I don't like to copy that link. I like to do like,
Which
you know,
one? This one?
yeah, I
You
like
don't
to,
like-
I like to, that's the link I like to use because it's the link. If you go to where it says invite friends to table and you copy from there, the link has extra digits at the end. It's like something like direct blah 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 blah. It
So
is the
you
right link.
don't do this one, Kristen.
Yeah, I don't like to use that one. I
Okay,
like
you
to
use this one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use the one at the top also.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, maybe that's why I was doing it. I'll just act like that's why I was doing it.
Yeah.
That wasn't why, it's just habit, but yay, look.
Yeah.
Magically.
Yeah.
we
I
can
like
do
the top URL better.
Yeah, so that's just, I copied that one. And that goes here. I do not do this host dashboard URL. I don't put my host address in here because it's virtual. It doesn't matter. So that is all the information that I have in there.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you I put the host URL in there so that they'll be thinking why they want to have a party.
What?
They gotta
Host
have
dashboard?
know what to shoot for.
I just don't because I don't have it in my smart actions for anything.
Oh, so they're not seeing it. Well, okay.
I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I'm not saying y'all can't. I'm just saying what I do.
Those fields, I do know those fields are only used if you have the little bracket with that in there in the smart action. So if you don't have a message in your smart actions that has the host dashboard to send to your host during your coaching, there's no need to put it in there. But if you do put it in there, the party host URL, that's what you would be able to do. So if at the end of your host coaching after the part, hey, your party's wrapped up, you had a message in your smart actions that said, hey, your party's wrapped up, click this link to your host dashboard, and then that would show up.
Yeah.
But if you don't
And it
have
might
that in,
That might be a smart action I need to add because I don't have it in there. I usually just manually text them towards the end.
that would be a
Because
great
I do
thing.
have some smart actions that keep them up to date at what their sales are at. So,
Right.
I mean, again, this is always a work in progress. My smart actions are not necessarily,
No, but we're brainstorming.
Right,
We're brainstorming.
but I also will say, I'm even when I tweak, I won't add tons and tons because I don't want to be texting them constant. It's already a good bit of text because there are times they'll text me. And so we start having conversation that's outside of smart actions that then all of a sudden they get another, I don't know. So it's always a work in progress. Don't ever, think that whatever you have is final. If that's a great idea to add one at the end that says, here's what you can click on to go work on your host order or whatever. So, all right. So then you hit create party. When you hit create party, it does all the stuff and you see that it put those URLs and all this. This is I think that is the join form, but I'm not using that. So it's still there, but I don't use it. So then when I go up here and click smart action, now I can see. Now, these have lines through it because just the way I set it up, I didn't pay attention to it's already past these times. So
Does that mean they didn't go or they did go all at one time?
These will not go because it's whatever time it is right now, 12:20, and these would have gone today at whatever. But if that happens, and it does happen for me sometimes, because if I'm going to start a show, we're going to start it right away, I go ahead and do the correct date. I wouldn't want it to wait till tomorrow. All you'll do, click on that one, uncheck this thing that says skip the action. Then I would go in here. I would change the time to be 12. What time is it? 12:30. So I change it to 12:30, like say 12:35. Not AM, we want PM. Say, okay. And then this one too. And I don't know if you have to change both of them, but I always do. And then you're going to save it. Now, when you do that and go back out, now that one just moved down here because it's going to send. So I would have to do it to all three of those because I need to change what time they're going to send based on what time it currently is. But I'm only affecting this party. I'm not changing it for all future parties. I'm just making it so that this host still gets hers. Because say she called me this morning, I said, oh yeah, we can kick off a party. You know, I'll get it set up today and I'll text you this afternoon. The other thing I always tell them, depending where the party's been booked from, if I'm doing it in Messenger, I will say, you will get a text from me and I give my business number. So then I say, so be sure to go save it as Pampered Chef Sarah so that it doesn't go to spam. Because since we're using Connection or Project Broadcast, I do think sometimes our Project Broadcast numbers, depending on who their carrier is and all that, could be spam. So I always make sure they know what number it's going to be coming from. But anyway, on this particular party, I would do that for all of them. Now then the rest of this, all these are going to go, you know, when it's time to go. If it's got this means it's going to the host and guests. Even though the host doesn't necessarily need to see the message going to the guest, I do currently have mine set that the host sees what I'm sending her friends. This one means that this is going to the host and the guest, but only guests that haven't ordered. Because I'm telling them there's 2 days left, they haven't ordered. This one is going to host or guests that have ordered. So if they haven't ordered, they're not going to get this one. Instead, if they haven't ordered, they're getting this one. And it's the same message, but the end of the wording is different because these people haven't ordered. If you would like to order, here's the link. These people already ordered. And so I say, if you want to return to the group, click here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And this one goes to everyone that hasn't ordered. This is, I think it might be this one. This is cool because this goes to the host and this shows her what her guest sales are. And it will list out everyone that hasn't ordered. And I do have lots that get it where their guest sales are 0. And they have, you know, 5 people that haven't ordered and they have no sales, and I let them still go. Okay, another thing that the reason y'all want to use smart actions. Let's say you have a host that she isn't inviting anyone, like my one that has nobody yet. I'll let it go for a few more days and then I'll reach out to her. She's getting my text. I'll reach out and say, hey, I know she hasn't invited anyone. We can kind of reset your party, redo it. We can kick it off, you know, tomorrow, whatever. I can go into her party and I can adjust all this, or I can reset it. Like I can hit reset, say yes. And then it would undo all of these. Like say I had gone to the details and changed the date because now we're going to start it next week on the 29th. After I change the date, I'll go in here, highlight all of them, hit reset. Or let's say someone died and so they need to wait. I had 2 of mine that were supposed to be the first part of January. They're now going to be the 1st of February. I went in. It's these 2. Hold on, let me go find them. It is these 2. I went in and it had already started sending them their message. So I went in and changed their date and hit reset, and I let them know. Now you're going to get those original messages again when we restart the party. I did not have to create a whole new party. I just had to reset the date. Because like think about Facebook. If you've done it in Facebook, and you've already done post my party, you've got to go in and redo all that so it'll post those things again. Kim, you look confused, or are you
No. I'm following. Yes, I'm getting it.
So I love that aspect because then I don't have to redo the whole party. I can just go in there and reset.
You cannot change the emoji to match the week because then it will change the party and you can't change the emoji.
Correct. You do need to leave it.
Whatever you name the party, you have to keep that party name.
Well, unless you go to table and change the emoji in table.
Okay.
Because if you change it in table and then change it in connection point, it should work.
Okay, I have a question about that then, because I believe there's a way, once they're in connection point and then they get over to Project Broadcast, it tags them with what
Yes.
party they're gonna be. Would it tag them with the old emojis and the new updated emojis?
I don't know.
And so
What
you're
I
gonna
would do to be safe, because that's not going to happen with every party, I would just leave it as the original emojis and just make sure you have a note.
Yeah.
For yourself.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
Let me see. Trying to think what else.
So the join form, because I still got that. So I need to go on the join form and delete it.
No, you don't have to delete the join form. It's this party URL. It used to be the join form that I would put there.
Right.
And now I don't. Now I put the table link.
Oh, maybe I've never used the join form then.
And I am seeing, and I just switched to that. So all those parties that have nothing, it's really hard for me to tell because I did those still with the join form. So, you know, I have tons that don't have a lot, but I'm not where I'm getting 60, 70 people like these others that are doing it. And I think, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's the area I'm in. I still think it comes down to the hosts. I mean,
It does.
because I do try my best to do a decent job on host coaching and I'm in contact with people. I mean, I send messages in between stuff. I'm always, you know, like when they get a big order, I'll send them a text and go, oh my gosh, did you see so-and-so's order? And of course they didn't. So I'll tell them, you know, I get them excited and stuff, but, many times I feel we are throwing spaghetti at the wall and just praying that some orders will come.
Right. But I will tell you, this bridal shower that I just started, the mama's doing it and she's blonde. Not who's blonde on here. Let's see. she's like platinum blonde. And so I made a gateway Facebook and her and the daughter joined, but they didn't invite anybody to that, but they invited them all to table. And so there's like 10 people in table and nobody in the Facebook gateway. And I'm like, bless America, bless America.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what gets confusing and I do not do a gateway. Some of the people in that table mastermind do one. Janelle, I know, does not. I cannot remember if Christine does, but here's the thing that I tell myself. If I were invited, I want it to be as easy as possible. And so when you're doing the gateway, they've gotten invited to the gateway, they get to the gateway, it tells them to go to another place. Then you get, you know, if it is the join form, then it's the join form to table. So I do try to simplify it. I thought the join form would be good because we were having trouble capturing phone numbers. That's why I was using it before, because that was that big change that happened August 16th. Well, they have since changed that and now made table where whatever it is, they're not having the issue getting phone numbers. And I should have stopped using the join form a long time ago, but I was in the land of my mom. So I am truly trying to get back in the loop. I've never felt this discombobulated with my business in the 18 years, but I'm getting there and I'm going to give myself grace. So it is what it is. But because they made that change and even that little check mark when you're setting it up, they have made table where now they're getting the information. The problem that happened when they did that phone number thing, they literally had the group of people tested for 1 week with like 1 or 2 parties. So there was no testing. So the statistics they gave us was such a mess. And I don't know, you know, because Janelle used to work for whatever in corporate doing testing. And she's like, I have no idea how they think that this is sufficient testing, blah, blah, blah. I think they are finally listening. I think that's why the video is front and center. How they thought anyone was ever going to click on more information that was the size of a microscopic bug is beyond me. But to see it now being right there, I mean, who's gonna click on that fun little shirt? I'm just kidding. But and this video, I don't know, it probably won't play for y'all. Okay, so that video is, I think this one is like barely 2 minutes or whatever. And it is just the very, very basics. And it's me welcoming them if they've never been to a party, and welcoming them back if they're familiar with Pampered Chef. And that's it. And, you know, I mean, I saw this yesterday, and that is huge. And then I don't have the shop button initially, but then it's right here. If you can't see that shop button, and it's the same when you're on the phone, then you need to go to the eye doctor and get a new prescription, because, you know, I think it's huge. So to me, and I even discourage my people from using these buttons to invite. I tell them, use the wording I send you, copy and paste it, go to your contacts, start with A, and work through your entire alphabet. Do not pick and choose who you're going to send it, because the people you least expect to order are probably going to order, including your hairdresser, your, you know, whatever. And I tell them to do it this way, because we have our phones in our hands 24/7. And so when they get the text from me, just holding down and copying and then pasting for their contacts, I think is way easier than this. That's just me.
Do you have your host just send text, or a text and a picture?
I tell them if they want to send the picture, they can do the picture as well. But I don't, I mean, and I tell them if they have, I said, you know, start with that. That's going to be your best bet, all of those contacts. But then if you have some people that you're friends with and you use Facebook and Facebook Messenger and you don't have their phone number, do the same thing over in Messenger. But I always tell them our biggest key is going to be who you text. And then I let them know, if you do all the inviting, I will be able to handle the rest. I said, even partway through the party, I'll send you a list of who has joined. And when you look at that list, if you are missing Aunt Sue and some other people, you know you need to go remind them, because when they got the text, they were driving and it showed up on their Apple Watch and they didn't think about it again later. And now that text is 5 days deep and you need to send them a reminder.
Okay. And so is that part of your conversation on the phone? Is that part of your smart actions? Is it both?
It's on the phone. And then if I've not had a phone call, I will do just a manual text to them, because I truly just say, I don't even care if you don't interact with people. If you want to, that's great, but just invite. If you will invite, I will be able to do the rest. Because through Smart Actions, if they have joined, I then can send the reminders. But if she never gets them there, nothing else matters, because I can't do anything. I can't message people I don't have information for. So.
Do you have an outline of your call?
I do have I had a Word document.
Will you share that in the group too, please?
I think you did.
And it may need to be tweaked a little. I mean, now it's so ingrained in my head what I say, but it'll give you an idea. But when I say, I tell them over and over, invite, I tell them that a ton. And if I text them stuff, it will literally say, remember, just invite. And sometimes it says invite, and then invite some more. And I'll tell them, you know, you can do it in little pockets of time. You know, if you're sitting at a ball field, you can do it. If you're, and now I shouldn't say this one, but I do all the time. If you're sitting at a red light and you're stopped, copy and paste and send it to 5 people real quick. Because I don't want it to be that they think they have to take all this time and do it. Do it as you think of people. And it comes down to, if you have a host that's on board with doing that, it'll be a successful party. I will say, I think unfortunately there are tons and tons of people that say they'll do the party and they just don't. They maybe send it to 10 people. So that is my system, Kim. I don't know if that helps or.
It does.
Now I do use my campaigns that I use, which I do want to change. I think I'm going to, this new booking, that's Mary Sapes, kind of the 222. I think I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to leave this here or if I'm going to somehow do smart action. I probably have to leave it here because once they reply, it takes some, it stops it if they reply. But then my customer care, I think I am going to move it back to, or I am going to create it over in Smart Actions, because you could do it where it's, 2 weeks out, then 60 days, whatever that time frame is, it'll still text them. So I think I may move it over there instead of it being a campaign right now.
Okay.
Because right now,
And
it
I'm only
does-
asking because I'm, again, still trying to figure out why to do connection point. Why, if you already have it set up in Project Broadcast, why would you move it?
Because of all the host coaching.
But this is the customer care campaign, like afterwards, right? Sarah,
and I'm not sure. I need to like process exactly what you're saying, what the reason you're asking. I need to process, do I need to move it over or not? Now, the reason I started using Connection Point was for the thank you, for sending the thank you, and and I don't have any orders. I've already done my thank yous that have come in this morning, but because when Connection Point captures the order, it assigns those campaigns to it automatically. And so it is one click of just sending them the thank you.
So why would you need to add it to your Smart Action, Sarah? Because if you're processing your orders on Connection Point, there's a field where because I add people to my 222 when they place an order, and I have
Right.
a 222
And so do I.
for parties, and I have a 222 if they ordered from my website, or a party with me. And then so it just adds them to the campaign right then. So
right, and mine does too. I need to find out from them why they have theirs over in Smart Actions versus the campaign. I'm not sure why they did it. Maybe they didn't have a campaign already. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I already do have a campaign, so.
Well, and I mean, you wouldn't need to add those. Why don't they? Because I've seen that too, where they have the 222 messages at the bottom of the Connection Point Smart Actions. But just like you add the campaign for Everyone Wins, why couldn't you just add the campaign at the end of the party for the people that ordered, and just when you say, whatever that last message, the party's wrapped up. And do you see, what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
How they
I
have
need to find out from them. I'll try to talk to Janelle and ask her, because the logistics of it, I'm not sure. That's where I get confused.
Individual messages, because you don't add individual message to the Everyone Wins campaign. You just put that in the Smart Actions, and everybody gets added to the Everyone Wins.
I don't have that Everyone Wins campaign. You have that in Connection Point?
Yeah, it's at least it was from one of the ones, I think I saw it on Sarah's in Connection Point. Go. Everyone's a winner and follow up. That is in somewhere in one of the messages.
Maybe that's why I'm not selling 9,000 a month.
Scroll to see, you can just see where campaigns are over there, like where it says add campaigns. Keep scrolling down, and you should see Everyone Wins and follow up toward the end of the party.
Oh, here. Yeah.
Okay, so on one of the ones that I had, it adds them to a campaign. That message, it adds them to see right there. You
Oh,
can
so,
see, you can add them to the campaign and then it will automatically add them to that campaign. So back over on Project
but why do
Broadcast.
we need, okay, but now I'm confused because this is the everyone wins and this message goes to everyone that wins that ordered and everyone wins that didn't order. It's going to everybody.
Right.
So why do we add a campaign though?
So I don't know who I got. Like, that's why I said I'm so discombobulated with all the different things. And that, so let me go to mine connection
Oh,
point.
you know, actually, you know what? Now that you're saying that, when people have ordered, they do go in my campaign where it asks them these 3 times, but they're also going to get that other message. So I do need to.
Well, that's
I mean, I haven't had
Mhm.
anyone bust at me yet, but see, this one does the whole, hold on, let me move y'all. This one does these 3 messages that's the same thing, that basically, you know, but this is when they've ordered. So a day after they order, they get this, but they're also going to end up getting this at the end of the party.
Well, you have this one that is just, you have this one for everyone who didn't order. You might have another message that is for people who did order. Because you're only sending this, scroll back down.
Oh yeah, it is to people that didn't order.
Right. So the people
Oh.
that are ordering are getting your
So then I
bookings
do
message.
need this in here, because if they didn't order, I don't have them over in Project Broadcast to attach. Now it's making sense. See, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, and y'all asked me to share.
Oh, I'm so lost right now.
Well, that's why I'm
That's what
saying
it
we
is.
have
So
to.
this is capturing anyone that did join the party, didn't order, and a lot of times people that didn't order may be ones that will host. So it's
Right.
capturing them here. My other people get captured over at Project Broadcast, because if they ordered, the campaign for that new booking gets put onto them.
Right.
So it covers both bases.
So your people who placed an order don't get everyone wins.
They do not get this.
Yeah.
Well, my form of everyone wins is this new booking thing. So it is, because this first message, I changed it to say, this is that same everybody wins message. It is a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
This was Mary Sapes, and I forget what her first message was, but I changed it to be the everyone wins. So it'll cover the people that have ordered and offer them the same thing. And then over in Connection Point, I'm grabbing the people that I had a phone number for, but they never ordered.
Smart.
Does it automatically go to Project Broadcast if they don't order?
No, that's why it's a Smart Action and Connection Point, because it's going to send it from there.
So back to what, to a question that Kristen had. I thought that when they joined the table party and it collected their information, that they went to your Project Broadcast, and you could do this very same thing that Sarah just showed us in Connection Point automatically through campaigns and Project Broadcast.
Yes, you can. And that's why I'm on this call to see, like, do I need to make this jump over, or what I'm doing works? I can see how Connection Point does kind of automate it a little bit, and I think it does make it easier. But all that same information is in Connection Point. I'm sorry, is in Project Broadcast, but I'm having to manually, like, I have everything as a template. So I have to manually, what day am I sending, and pulling up the groups that I'm, they're tagged by party. So it's easy, but I'm having to manually send the messages.
And that's
whereas
why
Smart Action seems to be more automated.
With Connection Point, and that's why I did switch, because I was doing the same thing. I have 50,000 bazillion template that I used to use, and I had them all as like, these are all my guest coaching, and I go and send those to everybody that's in the party. And those were on my host coaching. A lot of these are, that may be a different picture or whatever, but these are now smart action. Like I have this bingo that's now a smart action. I have this little gift thing that I offer for orders, you know, they get 5 orders by Monday, blah, blah, blah. It's all automated. So if I'm out of town and I get busy doing something and didn't go do the template, that would be my thing. I wasn't as consistent because I get sidetracked with stuff. Whereas as soon as I've set it up, the smart actions are going to go
If
regardless.
you're done with your scheduling, once you set up the party and the host starts inviting people and they join, you're done with your scheduling.
Well, even really before she starts inviting, I mean, once I've set it up in all 3 places, I'm done. Because
But
it's set up in all.
Yeah.
I mean, I
But
still
you
pay
could-
attention.
But really a campaign's kind of the same thing, a campaign and project broadcast. If like I'm just using templates because I want it to be more personal and I don't want it to just automatically go if it doesn't make sense based on the host and what she's doing or not doing. But you could, instead of templates, you could set it up as a campaign that when the party starts, it starts going. So
Yes, but then don't you? I don't know.
We've talked about.
I just know this is what's working.
And I've gotten back and forth with the automated versus in templates to
Yeah,
make it be more personal. I have literally gone back and forth. So here's my thoughts. I'm tending now to Connection Point only for the fact that it allows me to message guests that have, without thinking of it, who haven't ordered and who have ordered, and a specific message. It allows me to message the host that says you have this much in sales and this are the people that haven't. So that dynamic is good. I can add the campaign to any of the people that are in the party. So that's good. And I can process the orders, and that can go pretty quickly too. I have so I started back to use the onboarding that we redesigned because I had a new girl, and I went back and I decided I'm going to do this because it's better than nothing. And I have talked to her, but I did tell her, and I think on the phone call, I would tell all my hosts, I have a system that automates the things I need to tell you on a timely manner. And so if we're in the middle of a text conversation and some random message pops up, I just want you to know that that is the reason. I want to make sure I'm doing my best job for you and giving you every possibility to have the best party. So these messages might come at what seems like a random time. So if it sounds weird, like we were just having a conversation and boop, this message popped, I want you to know why.
Yeah.
And I haven't had anyone before when I did that. And then now this gal that's a new consultant, I haven't had anybody go, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, I think if we tell them, if we don't try to pretend that we're doing it ourselves, then I don't think it makes us look like stupid, basically.
Well, it's just like us using when we were all partying on Facebook. Use that as a leverage for recruiting. Hey, I do have things that are automated that makes this job easier, but I'm still personal with it, and that comes into, you know, adding your personal touch as far as your videos and your pictures of your family and, you know, of you cooking and stuff like that. So you could even, you know, put that in the plug of your party on table as far as a recruiting thing. I know Kim did whenever she was running my party or running the party that I was in, and she's like, you know, hey, you think I'm spending a lot of time? I actually am only spending this amount of time. I have a system that does my posting and stuff like that. So to me, that was, you know, one of the things, hey, I might could actually do this and work my full-time job. So
Y'all gotta get out of here. You're diseased.
y'all better get out of here. We on Zoom. It might come through the computer.
I mean,
So I agree with you, Kim. Like I said, when I was seeing about like that, it gives you like, you know, that it can easily tell your host who didn't order, and that I think is brilliant, and that's worth $10 a month.
Right.
And I
then
think that's the
if I'm
thing.
doing more parties, like if this could help me to do more parties and do them all the same way and ask my host 5 times and do all the consistent things I know I need to do, because when it's left up to me with templates, I have the best intention, but then I don't always do it. Like I try.
And I think that's why because I did not understand the smart action thing. I kept hearing all these people talk about it and it was just blowing my mind. But then I'm one of those, when the bee gets in the bonnet and it clicks, we're good. So it finally clicked with the smart actions. Do I need to tweak a bunch of them? I do. Do I need to clean up a bunch of stuff? I'm sure I do. Again,
That's no different than I'm always tweaking my campaigns and my messages and stuff in Project Broadcast. So, and I see too, like, I think too, like in terms of a transition, again, getting it and maybe starting with these messages that I really, really like you were saying, like the ones that kind of tally things up. And then I can eventually start moving more and more over as I get the hang of it.
Really what you could do is all your template, you move them over as smart actions on the date, like think through your party, like how they run, and you move them over. I mean, your templates basically become your smart actions. So your system doesn't change your work. None of your stuff really would change. It's that instead of you every Tuesday morning saying, okay, I got to send this for all these parties, it's in Connection Point. It's doing it for you.
Yeah.
So, I just think that and I've been saying it for a couple of years, we're not really selling mix and shops and stuff. We're working on technology is what I feel like we do as our business now. I mean, whether we like that or not. I mean, yes, those of you that are doing in-home parties, you're still doing that aspect, but I mean, I guess where I'm doing,
not all getting on board with social media and becoming videographers and food photographers and blah, 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 we're going to get left behind too. So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. I got to run.
Bye, Angie.
Angie.
Love
Thanks,
you,
Sarah.
friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is. And I do miss that aspect. When I was on live yesterday, and it'll happen again today, I mean, I naturally, like I was chopping up some Oreos in the manual food processor and I started talking about the manual food processor. And it's so funny because on TikTok, over the course of the time I've done, I have had so many people ask if I used to be a teacher. And someone asked yesterday, I'm like, why do you say that? And she responded and she said, well, because just the way you explain things, like you're very good at explaining and giving, examples, blah, blah, blah. And that made me, kind of pause and think, well, that's really what we do at our cooking shows. And a lot of mine comes from being my daughter's therapist to teach her to speak. I had to learn to be very descriptive of everything so that she would be able to own that word. And yeah, so it's so funny how things are so intertwined and related and,
Do we need to
anyway.
stop the video?